Find some
This one
viable. way
does.
to-
Oh, they might be switching it around.
Is there
Might be switching it out.
Cloud or this computer?
some viable way?
I mean, I can steal it, but
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, he doesn't, he's,
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, it doesn't.
Oh, Erica.
Yeah, they all use this part, yeah.
No, I got the,
But it's the same,
the
it's
USB
the.
part.
the
This
application,
part,
you know,
yeah.
it's got the pictures in it.
No, that's the picture. Then I have.
Erica, I got these. Just go ahead and file them for me
Oh,
from
okay.
Harvey
Yeah, we did
Rubin.
these too.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought
Unless-
he took-
Huh? Well, last year he sent me the check, which was,
Oh,
you know,
40 something thousand.
Oh,
right,
Yeah.
which was, now I notice he sent me
I
the,
was telling you,
the
that's what
copy
we
of
were
that he sent William a check, which is how it should be. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
But he passed away. like,
Together.
yeah. So when is that dated?
So this, oh, yeah, it's all.
December, okay.
Sit under them,
Um,
it's like it's full of birds and they pick
Regular.
up with people.
we tried calling them several times last
Okay.
week and today. They did not answer. so
Okay,
I don't know
so
if
they
they're
may not
here.
be here. Okay.
Is it there?
And I know we have the high school.
Downstairs.
Run real quick and get a copy. Refill before we start. When you got copy.
For what? Oh, you made it.
Unless you're.
Well, I need a copy.
I'll give it to him. The city? Oh, Omar, I won't marry you. Not yet.
George. That's cool.
Yes, and I was just talking to Omar about the usage, and I am so happy that we did what we did.
We have a Walt.
Okay, are we ready for the special meeting?
Yes, well,
We're talking about this.
I
Is
know.
Walter.
I'm talking about Walt.
Oh.
We have a Walt.
Oh, we have, no, we don't want.
Oh,
well,
he's
sick.
he's ill.
Oh,
We
oh.
don't know if he's going to be joining.
Okay.
Erica, do you know if he's going
He
to be
has not
joining?
responded, so.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started anyway, because we're at 6:30. So, this is the thing. This is the, special meeting, at 6:30 on January 23rd. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Mitchell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lowe.
Here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilwoman Bravo. Here. And Councilman Fahet is absent.
Okay. This is a special meeting to discuss the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant approval. Are there any public comments? Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No one has signed up. No.
Okay, and how about virtually?
Virtually as well.
No one?
No.
Okay, is there anyone I'll leave anyone in the audience? Give you a chance, even if you haven't signed up to speak. Okay, I'm closing the public comments and we'll proceed.
yes, Mayor and Council, this is a grant that our grant writer is obtained for us, and Omar's been working with them on the application process, and part of the requirements of the grant is that we have a special meeting with council, and that council expresses support for the project so that we can go ahead and apply for it. This involves improvements at the aquatic center. And I'll turn it over to Omar. I believe he's got some pictures of some of the work that's going to be involved with this grant. Omar?
So happy New Year. If I haven't seen you guys.
You?
So yes, we're hoping to get this grant. I think it'll be very beneficial for us on a couple of different angles that we have. Number one being that we've been wanting to get some shade canopy at the aquatic center. Right now we use umbrellas, which are an enormous amount of undertaking for the staff, opening them up, closing them up, weights, got to put sand in them, things like that. So we're hoping that we get a standstill shade canopy. It'll help us be more efficient. And plus we'll provide more shade for our patrons. It's one of the things they complain about the most, that there's not enough shade there. So if you look at the first page, we have where we marked out in red, where we'll have a very like long canopy, that kind of like a cantilever that goes over. And then here where the 3 trees are, we're going to put 3 umbrellas where those trees are currently. If you go to the last page, those are the ones that'll be where the trees are. So we'll be removing the trees and we'll add where there's a pole with a concrete footer in the ground with an umbrella type, right? And then if you go to, I believe it's the 3rd to the last page, the one that goes along the south side of the pool will look like this, where it's straight through. So the poles are going to be setting on the outside of the fence line. So they won't be in the concrete slab for the pool deck. It'll be just outside the fence line, the poles. And then it's tall enough that the poles will just shoot over it's the 3rd page from the end.
3rd from the last. Okay. hold on.
So that would be for this area, right?
Correct. The long red one. And again, the poles will be installed on the outside of the black fence where the shrubs are.
Mhm.
And then the poles, obviously they go straight up, and then the cantilever goes on the top to provide shade in that area. And then we'll have chairs there and things like that for
And
the,
that then allows, because I know that was one of my big concerns, is there's no real shade near the kiddie areas, so parents can
Correct.
sit, so they could sit alongside, I guess, the south side of the pool and watch
correct,
the kiddie area.
correct,
and be in the
correct.
shade.
Yes.
To the chair?
Yes.
Omar, would that be from one point to all the way to the end? or-
Yes.
Oh,
So right from the edge where you see that whole red outline, it'll be the whole south side of
On
the
the
deck,
front page,
basically.
first
Yeah.
page.
There's an exit door by the concession stand. So the first pole will go right outside
got
that
it.
door, and it goes all the way down.
Thank you. Sorry.
These look like new chairs. Then
Where?
that on
It's
this.
just a
Those
rendering.
are-
This is not
No,
what
that's
it's,
not Miami.
this
That's
is not
different.
Miami Springs.
Oh, that's not Miami Springs. Okay, okay.
No, yeah, yeah.
Just you're giving an example of
An
a shade
example.
canopy.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now, the other part of the grant is we're going to be repairing or replacing some of the areas where the deck is. Okay. The trees, they are nice for design criteria, I guess, but for day to day, they're not efficient for us. Number one, there's birds there all day, every day, 365 days out of the year that cause an enormous amount of mess. We clean it up every morning, every afternoon. It's just huge task for us. But it's also, people can't sit there because of the birds. So the trees are supposed to provide shade, and they do, but you can't sit there anyway because the birds are constantly, using the restroom, to say the least. So, and it's bringing up the deck, which is our biggest concern. If you see a lot of the pictures there, we already have where there are some trip hazards. And when we have a busy day in the summer, we put a cone there so that someone doesn't trip, but aesthetically pleasing. It looks horrible to have, cones all over the pool deck. So we're hoping that with this grant, we can go ahead and remove the trees, use the existing footer that's there, the existing space where the root is, to put the footer and have the one pole with the shade canopy. At the same time, we could repair the deck, and then we shouldn't have this issue moving forward because it's the roots that's tearing up the deck. Ironically, in this area, which is the one that's in front of the restroom, where you see we did the red with the 3 trees, that's the worst area, right? But on the west side, the 3 trees on the west side in front of the cabanas, that area is also starting to create damage. So we're really hoping we can get this grant because we need to fix that, because that area could affect the foundation of the pool, which long term could cost us a lot of money to fix. So
I can tell you, I know as beautiful as those palm trees are, because they're stunning.
They are
really
beautiful.
Stunning.
I won't, yeah.
They,
no
you
question.
cannot, and they provide an enormous amount of shade, except they're not usable. The amount of bird poop, there's no other way to
Right.
describe it, that comes down. You can't sit under there because it'll, and it's funny because the noise of the birds,
They're loud.
there's so many, it's so loud, you can't even use the cell phone
Yeah,
under
they're
there.
loud. No, we
But
discourage patrons from sitting there on the
There
weekends. So we do.
possibility that we can move those trees somewhere else because they provide a home for birds.
So yes,
They're, they're beautiful trees.
yeah, I've talked to Laz about that, and Laz says that to remove them we need a crane. So the whole game plan has been that if we were to get the grant, we get a contractor, it would be to remove the trees and then have a plan to plant them somewhere else. Laz has a couple of ideas because they are
They're
really
stunning.
they're really
They're
pretty
stunning.
palms. They're beautiful, and there's 6 of them, and they're not cheap. So yes, part of the RFP process would be where the contractor would have to remove them and mobilize them to another site. That is part of the
And
plans.
ideally choose a site that they're not desirable for shade.
Correct.
Because,
Laz has a couple of ideas. I have some other ideas if we were to build some other parks in the future. We'll get into that, I think. So hoping that ties in somehow.
so that'll be.
But we have
part-
some options. But
Part of this
yes,
grant is to relocate the trees to
Yes.
another site.
yes.
That's good.
Um,
Yep.
I'm okay with this. I mean.
Yep,
we need it.
absolutely.
I think it's really needed. I think the pool area, personally, I know that part of, we live in South Florida. Look, skin cancer is a really big concern. This isn't something we can, scoff at. And the areas of the pool where you can have shade canopy, you can't be by the younger children, which are the ones that you need to, you can't depend on the lifeguards. You need to be there monitoring them. And there's really no way to do that. So I think that this is an important improvement to something that's used so much by the community, and that is really just, I know I've heard from residents who have pools in their backyards, and they say they still go to the rec center, to the aquatic center, because it's so much fun for them, for their
Right.
kids to be with other kids. And how much is the grant that we're applying for?
So it's 600,000 is what we're asking for. The grant is a matching grant, so they'll give us 300,000, and then we'll have to match the 300,000.
And this is also, I'm asking, I don't know, is also to resurface the inside of the pool?
Well, Marsite it, correct? Yeah,
Marsite it.
it's like the diamond bright you see on most
Okay,
pools. So
so
yes,
that's a major component of this
Correct.
grant, is that resurface.
correct. And we have, I believe, it's 3 years to complete the task on the grant. Once, if we were get awarded, we have 3 years to complete it. So the game plan right now, initially, I spoke to James and Kaylin, is to obviously fix the deck first, right? And then do, in conjunction, do the shade canopy, and then later on do the Marsite. Because we could wait another 2 years to do the Marsite. That way we get the most of what we initially did with the project. You have to do the Marsite about every 10 to 15 years, give or take, on the usage of the pool. So we're looking at roughly in about 2 years, it'd almost be like 10 years. So right before that grant ends, we'll do the Marsiting.
Omar, on this one, you see where the trees are not lining up? Are you guys gonna try and maybe move this one back? Are the umbrellas gonna line up, or?
We were
Does it
we were
matter?
hoping we were hoping to use the hole that's already there from the tree
Correct.
base to already use it as the foundation. But it is something that if we were to add it, to the RFP, we could.
I would blow out the umbrellas first and then do the deck, no? Because you don't know what if the poles.
it has to be tied in all together.
all together.
Yeah, because the removal of the tree provides already with the trick is that usually with these shade canopies, you have to drill into the pool deck. So the good thing is that we already have the existing spaces for it. Like it's already there. So I'm
Okay,
trying to
perfect.
avoid the extra cost or the
Exactly.
fact of doing that.
Exactly.
That's why the one that goes on the south side, I told the guy I'd rather have the poles, in between where the hedges and the black fence, so we're not drilling into the ground.
Oh,
So-
well, things happen, so we have to be open.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
Omar, what about, I know I heard from a resident about the temperature of the pool, that it's supposed to be heated in the winter and they don't feel that it's heated to what it's supposed to be.
Well, our heater is down actually at this point.
Okay.
That is the truth. The heater is down. We were supposed to get it fixed today. They did not show up, so we're supposed to expect them towards the end of the week. The heater went down. We had to order the parts. The parts were not easy to get. We moved as quickly as we can, but it's a process. whether we, requisition, PO, get it ordered. I wish I could fix it myself because I get a lot of phone calls and I understand it's an issue. I'd like to
Okay,
address
but we're in
it
the
as fast as
process
I
of
can,
trying to
but
correct it.
We
These
already have
days,
a
the
PO.
supply chain is
It's bad.
horrendous, horrendous for anything to
Yeah.
get repaired.
I mean, James called and then he called me and he says that one of the items is 6 weeks out. I was like, what? Can't be. So I had to call the guy and I was like, 6 weeks
Yeah.
doesn't work. It'll be summertime by then. Like, we got to move on this. And then finally they helped us out, but it's pretty tough to get things.
To the chair,
Sir.
Omar, I guess this should be directed to William. So the 300, if we get the 300, do we have contingency funding budgeted for that?
That would be come from ARPA money.
Okay.
That we have available. Sure.
Thank you.
Do you need a motion?
You got one.
Get a second.
Okay. Any more discussion? Any more questions? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Lowe,
Aye.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bravo.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes,
So motion carries.
thank you.
Good luck
Thank
with that,
you.
Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. It's, okay, so we are going to take a little break until 7 and then we'll start our regular council meeting.
Okay.
Huh?
Thank you.
No, no.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Let me, you're not too far in. You're not too far in. Oh, you're
It's
kind
not
of
like a
first
bit.
class.
I have, no, I have a video in my backyard. I know what every side of the I went on my coffee, I sit down, I watch and I read. I didn't, I had experience.
Uh-huh, they're beautiful. They're
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
I want to go grab a coffee.